so very much for still being here. This is Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head to our conversation for today. Former senator and media entrepreneur Ben Murray Bruce has dismissed concerns that the mass defections from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) signal the end of opposition politics in Nigeria. In an interview, Murray Bruce insisted that Nigeria's democratic space is dynamic and will continue to produce new challenges. He said the decline of the PDP should not be mistaken for the collapse of democracy, emphasizing that even if the party dies, other political movement will rise to take its place. Ben Murray Bruce argued that the wave of defections, including those of Bayelsa State Governor Douye Diri and Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah, does not spell the emergence of a one-party state. According to him, opposition politics remains alive as other figures and platforms will continue to challenge the ruling party in future elections. He maintained that democracy in Nigeria is resilient, noting that leaders like Peter Gregory, Obi, Rabiu Kwankwaso, and Atiku Abubakar still represent vibrant opposition voices capable of shaping the nation's political future. Let's get talking. I still have Emeka Amadunago. Emeka, are we hearing the voice of someone who is depressed, someone who is frustrated, and someone who is under so much tension because of his financial downturn at this point? That's Ben Murray Bruce.
No. Let's not be uncharitable.
Okay.
Ben Murray Bruce has been an entrepreneur for so many years. Remember, his father too was an entrepreneur for many years before he died.
But it's not, things are not looking good for Ben Murray Bruce right now.
Yeah, I'm coming to something.
Yes.
That things are not looking good for his business doesn't mean that Ben Murray Bruce has become useless.
Sometimes it has a way of affecting the personality. We've seen it with Ojo Zokalo, who had lost so many things and said...
Ojo Zokalo still has some vibrant businesses now. Yes, now, Ben Murray Bruce is an indie. Look, let me tell you, as long as an entrepreneur is breathing and is able to use his senses well, failure is actually one of his strongest points, because when you fall, like the Bible says, you fall 7 times, you will rise again.
So the rising, the comeback, does it mean coming back and becoming part of what you criticized? Is that a better comeback?
No, there are two different things.
Okay.
There's Ben Murray Bruce as an individual, Ben Murray Bruce as an entrepreneur, and Ben Murray Bruce as a politician. Ben Murray Bruce as an individual is still, somebody recognized as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a former senator. As an entrepreneur, yes, his businesses may be having 1 or 2 issues here and there, because of debts and all of that, unfortunately. And it happens to people. Even Dangote, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, do you know who used to own a bank, Liberty Bank, that collapsed? But Femi Otedola today is the main, person running First
Bank,
First Holdco, not just First Bank. So these things happen. And Nigeria is such an unstable business environment that you even applaud people who run such risks,
who are still in existence,
big risks, borrowing billions to run this. I don't have such. I'm an entrepreneur, but I cannot run such a risk. To even borrow 1 million naira, I will not sleep well. Not talk of borrowing billions in an environment where government can just come anytime and drop a policy that can ruin everything. You may have ordered some goods from abroad. They will still be right on the high seas when government brings on one policy. And everything is upended. So I wouldn't want to mix both, because I believe Ben Bruce will still bounce. His brothers are there now. They're all in the business. So, and I'm sure they will all be looking for how, to get things back on the sound. I understand his mall has been put up
Yeah, the one in Abuja,
Yeah,
the one in other
this happened.
places.
Even Femi Otedola said he ran bankrupt. He said he ran bankrupt, but is he not back today? He's back. So I want to hope sincerely that Ben Murray Bruce will bounce back, because he has contributed a lot to business, to entertainment in Nigeria. He has really done a lot. So I hope sincerely that his business will bounce back, And so, talking about politics, yes, he has risen to the level of a senator, and I applaud him for that. Even though I don't agree with some of his views, but let's remember that there was something this man was saying as a senator when he said, "I've come to make common sense," but people were laughing at him. Now we have come to what he was saying, and we ought to give him due credit. When Bebu said, "Buy Nigeria to grow the naira," is that not where we are today? Crude for sale, crude for naira.
Yes, naira.
Is that not where we are today? Is it not growing the economy? Now, the Bola Tinubu administration is talking of a Nigeria first policy. Is that not what Ben Bruce was preaching? But unfortunately in Nigeria, we don't like giving due credit to people. So, when he was talking about buy Nigeria to grow the naira, look, in the whole world, it's only in Nigeria that the naira is used. The CFA is used in 17 countries, some of whom are our neighbors. So you look
made possible by their colonialists, isn't it? Not largely because of the independent countries wanted it that way.
But they still maintain the relationship with France, an economic relationship. If we had maintained an economic relationship with the United Kingdom,
we would have been using the UK pounds.
Maybe we would have been using the UK pounds. Maybe it would have turned out well for us. Maybe we would have been using the British, the pound sterling. Maybe it would have turned out well for us. Who knows? Because there are some dependencies of the UK, that still use, pound sterling. So who knows how it will have turned out well for us? That is a discussion for another day. But as far as I'm concerned, so we should give Ben Murray Bruce his due credit. Yes, he has even said something which is pointed, which is that's why I'm not fazed by all these defections. Because politics, like he said, is a dynamic endeavor. It's a fluid endeavor. People join parties and leave parties. It's not a new thing. You see Nigeria saying it does not show integrity and credibility, and that's okay. You go and join politics now. You go and join politics and show us the integrity. Not sit by the side and you now tell me that as a politician you will not pursue your ambition. Your ambition is very, very important to you, because you have a reason why you join politics. You have supporters. You have sponsors, you have backers, you have people who believe in your vision. And of course, when they tell you that, look, your goal will not be served in this political party, why do you remain there? Remember Gbenga Daniel, who was governor of Ogun State for 8 years. He was initially in the AD, Alliance for Democracy. Yes, and then, he was told that, look, they had a list of people. Then Chief Segun Oshoba was governor of Ogun State from 1999 to 2003. Gbenga Daniel was told that there was a long list of 11 people already who were angling to get the governorship ticket. So by indicating interest, he will be number 12. So we have to wait for all these people before, and then it's not. What are we talking about? How will that happen? He now moved to the PDP, and he was able to actualize his ambition to become governor of Ogun State. Served there 2 terms. And we can go on and on and on and on and on, at different levels. So it's easy for people to pontificate because, when they want to play God. But they forget one thing, that look, we have enough historical antecedents in this country to guide public discourse, to tell us what happened in the First Republic. Nnamdi Azikiwe was on his way to becoming the Premier of the Western region when some members of the Ibadan People's Party dumped the NCNC and moved to the Action Group. So what are we talking about? That could have happened if those people had not defected. If those people had not defected, that would have happened. So what are we talking about in the opening years of the Fourth Republic? People were defecting from left. People were defecting from one place to the other. But did that stop anything? That didn't stop. That doesn't stop politics. The clock is still ticking. So, he has rightly, as an experienced, someone with some experience, he has rightly said that, look, PDP cannot die. Forget the fact that the same governors who are defecting were the same governors who caused the problem in PDP. The same governors who gathered in Asaba, was in 2021, and said that the presidential ticket should go to the south. But at the end of the day, one of them, Ifeanyi Okowa, the governor of Delta State, railroaded himself into getting the ticket for running mate. And that was what angered Peter Obi, and he left PDP. That was what angered Wike. Wike did not leave, but decided to fight back. And now he forced Ifeanyi Okowa out of the party. Atiku Abubakar, who should have said no, who should have put his foot down, and said no, he has left the party. All the people orchestrated this thing. Douye Diri, who was there, he wasn't the governor there, but they have been in PDP and they've seen all this kind of, they've seen how, these things are played out, yes, and what did they do? What did they do about it? Yes, so we need to really, ask ourselves. If we look at Douye Diri, second-term governor, second-term governor, yes, and look at what is going on.
But don't you think that this is a deliberate consensus of the southern governors? Because we don't see this sort of defection happening in the north. It is actually not likely. But most of the defections we're seeing is in the southern part of Nigeria, both the southeast, south, and the southwestern part of Nigeria. Don't you think that this is deliberate consensus to back a southern a president, even if he is not loved by most people, but to back him as against what the north might be planning?
Tinubu remains president of Nigeria. If Tinubu does well, he can campaign with that.
Campaign with what exactly?
With good performance. Yes, when he came in, what was the exchange rate? It was 750. When he came in, what was the? We had a double-digit inflation. The thing rose so dangerously, but now they are saying that it has come down to 18.02%.
They say.
Well, that's what the
but that's not what it's happening. That's not what's happening in reality.
No, well, you want me to say it is not true, and then they will say, okay, bring your facts.
But it is not, because when we go around the streets, we will see.
Yes,
we'll see that. So those are already facts, glaring facts there.
No. Let's give due credit where it's ought to be.
Okay.
President Tinubu said some weeks ago that his administration will stop borrowing domestically. And you know that domestic borrowing is one of the triggers, usually one of the triggers of high inflation.
Okay.
The Buhari administration, when in 2021, they decided to, through the ways and means, borrow 23 trillion, print naira notes of 23 trillion naira, which was the equivalent of $50 billion for the central bank. Of course, that's one of the things that spiked inflation. But 23 trillion naira. If you are giving loans, if you are giving single-digit interest loans to entrepreneurs, that money would have gone a long way to turning things around in this country. But what did they do? The debt was there. He also took a debt from IMF. Don't forget. Special drawing rights. Took a loan from IMF. Well, we can not a loan in the real sense of it. But all of these things, they're coupled with back-to-back recession, 2 recessions, coupled with COVID-19. They didn't manage all these things because there were opportunities in all these things. So, yes, Tinubu now came in, said he met a economy, their collapse. Well, to some extent, he may have had a point. But the other thing is this. He also followed in Buhari's footsteps. Buhari borrowed 23 trillion. Tinubu came in and took another ways and means of 7 trillion. That made 30 trillion, and then he now converted them to a debt of 40 years. So, in that way, at least you have reduced the burden domestic economy. By saying that, okay, his administration will no longer borrow domestically, at least he has stopped crowding out local businesses that need that finance, that need that, those funds to run their businesses. So, to that extent, if they truly stop domestic borrowing, if they can pay contractors, because they are owing contractors a lot of money, if they can deliver on their treasury bills, the euro bond is due for redemption from November. If they can deal with that, if they can sort out the euro bond, sort out their treasury bills and all those things, of course, I expect that inflation should naturally fall to single digits. And then with that, if they can take certain measures, chiefly, which is making it possible for foreign investors to be able to repatriate their funds, repatriate their profits, of course, the economy will get better. You will now see that more jobs will be created. You will now see that the purchasing power of the people, will be, the purchasing power of the people will improve, and a lot of things, will just naturally follow. So the thing is this, like that proverb says that everything rises, the success of any country rises and falls on the leadership. So they know what they did by floating the naira, which now made the naira weaker than the CFA.
Okay.
And the CD and all that. So they know the things they can do to make sure they've cleared debts owed airlines, yes. But if they can open the system such a way that foreign investors can repatriate their funds, you don't need to be traveling all over the world and be looking for foreign investors. They will come. If you can fix things like power, if you can, okay, now you're giving licenses for self-generation, but those licenses would automatically translate to efficiency. They would automatically translate to cheaper goods. You see Dangote refinery now, it has dispatches 4,000 trucks to take petroleum products across the country at 850 naira. It is one thing to take those products at 850 naira all over the country without subsidy. It is another thing for those at the end, the retailers, to also be patriotically driven, not to impose arbitrary profits, one. Two, not to tamper with their pumps. So even if they may be selling at 900 naira, but they may be selling products, they may be dispensing products, of 400 naira to you at 900 naira. So because we do not have solid regulatory oversight, of all these industries, petroleum industry and all those things, the downstream sector, that is why we have these distortions in the economy. But for me, governors have just one vote.
Okay.
What can they do? It's the people who have their votes. You cannot coerce people to go and vote for by threatening that if you don't vote for APC, we will not bring development to your area. I mean, look at the governor of Edo State. Did he need to get to that extent? Saying that any commissioner doesn't wear Tinubu cap? Why? These people should be cognizant of historical antecedents. You don't need to go too far. If you run your state well, forget the people will vote for you. Because Tinubu is not going to go and tell INEC, declare him winner.
All right. So we would be going for a quick break now, and this discussion would continue maybe in the next 10 minutes, and we'll be joined by Obong Thompson, just to talk some more on some of these defections, what it means to the states, and if the states are really benefiting from some of this defection, especially as submitted by Bemere Bruce. It's still Enterprise Weekend. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, thank you so very much for still being here. This is Enterprise Weekend. Just before we went for that short break, we were talking about the submission by Bayelsa Bruce on why he think that PDP would not collapse with the mass defection. I have with me right here in the studios, just joining us, Obong Thompson, public affairs analyst and journalist. Thank you so very much, Obong, for having the time.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Henry. Good morning.
Yeah, so we had the discussion going on with the Mecca, and I'd love to have your submission on what you think about the PDP. Do you think that we have seen the last of PDP? In accordance to what Bayelsa said, that this will not mark the end of the opposition in Nigeria, with everybody defecting to the APC from the PDP.
Well, just like what is obtainable in any other sector of life, sometimes dry grass, had to awaken again and bear, fruit and so on. So PDP going to extinction, I doubt greatly, because we still have great men that are resolved to, resuscitate the party in the person of Makinde and co. And what Bayelsa have said might be just for temporary setback that PDP is suffering, but so far, PDP has had this is deeply rooted in Nigeria, because virtually everybody playing political parties today emanated from PDP. So PDP is in the blood of so many Nigerians, and it is very, very difficult to do away with such a political party. All what the PDP require now is to rebuild, and it might take them some time, but actually they will come out from it, because we have a lot of indication to show that PDP is going to bounce back, because we still have some young men that are hungry for success in politicking. So we are going to have those young minds going back into PDP. You see what happened in Akwa Ibom State, where young national working committee, they had to kind of suspend the ESCO. Yes. In Akwa Ibom State, but you see some young, vibrant politicians coming on board to take over the party. So if this, cut across all the states, believe me, you have young brains and young Nigerians that will want to revamp that party.
So are you telling me that with reference to Akwa Ibom State, for example, Umoino has relieved himself totally from the PDP, because he said he will still be with the structure while he is with the APC? So does that mean that he has totally removed himself from the PDP, or is still holding onto the structure in case if APC collapses someday?
The situation we have on ground now is that PDP, is being led by a new ad hoc committee. Under the National Working Committee, you understand? Why the state ESCO has refused, to let go of PDP. The present state ESCO, led by Mr. Anekan Akpan, still had to go to court to revalidate his, position as the state party chairman. And we have the National Working Committee chairman having, rolled out about 10 names of, the ad hoc committee that will foresee the activities of Akwa Ibom State, having suspended the Akwa Ibom State ESCO. So Pastor Moino, as we speak, will be looking toward, still holding a grip to the former, one faction of the party at the state level. This other faction, I believe they are working very hard to see how to restructure the party at the state level.
Just before we conclude, a party having two factions, and the governor who glaringly has left the PDP is still holding on to another faction. Does this make any democratic sense?
That is politics in Nigeria. Do you remember? Okay, let's go back in history.
We have less than 60 seconds to do this. Yes.
Okay, President Bola Tinubu, when he was governor of Lagos State, 2003, the other 5 southwest states fell to PDP. Kwara Kogi fell to PDP. He was the only one in AD. Even by the time he was concluding as governor in 2007, AD was under threat. He had to now In fact, everywhere, all over the nation, AD was on the verge of becoming extinct. So he now quickly registered the Action Congress, AC. If you remember, in 2007, in 2011, then they now became the Action Congress of Nigeria. Then by 2013, you know, they now merged with, you know, a new PDP, with AMPP, with Congress for Political Progressive Change, Buhari's party, with a section of APGA, and now became APC. That was in April 2013. So remember that PDP, when Buhari came in, PDP had 3 factions. PDP almost died. But then, in fact, remember that Obasanjo, former President Obasanjo, said the people running PDP were just undertakers. But PDP bounced back. Those were that PDP.
But at the time he tore
he said that was a discussion for another day. He tore his paper long time, his membership card long time ago. But what I'm saying is that PDP cannot die. Why are people talking like this? Those who have political ambition, even including the governors, when they cannot, if getting return tickets becomes difficult for them, they want to fall back to the PDP. Someone like Douye, even though, I mean, it has not been formalized, you know, he moved to APC, but he's a second-term governor. If it becomes difficult for him to get his, because for him to defect, definitely he has his eyes on going back to the Senate. So when it becomes difficult for him to get the ticket to the Senate, he will fall back to the same PDP. I can name, if not for time, I can name examples everywhere. I can name examples, you know, of, remember Victor Ome now, he tried to get senatorial ticket now in 2023 on the platform of APGA. He couldn't. That same day, Victor Ome ran to the Labour Party. And of course, being a heavyweight, he had a ticket now, you know. So the thing is this, it is about playing your game well. PDP remains a beautiful bride. Labour Party remains a beautiful bride. You will not go to maybe any of those smaller parties now that don't have state offices, that don't have, you will still use the same parties that are still on ground. Look at local government elections. People take tickets from all kinds of parties. They know what they are doing. They know that yes, the governor is a party in power that will produce the chairman and all the councillors at local level. But the certain point is about visibility. Let people see your posters. Let people hear about you.
So it doesn't really matter where you belong.
I told you before that political parties last existed under the Third Republic, SDP and NRC. Now what we've had in the First Republic is mainly about who is there, whom do we like, or who is able to fund our pockets, fund our bellies. That's what it is. So we don't have ideologies ruling us in this First Republic.
All right. Obon Thompson, do you think the personalities like Peter Gregory Obi might bring back the old PDP that we know if maybe he goes back to the PDP and wants to run for the president come 2027?
I doubt if Peter Obi will even in the first place go back to PDP, because as we speak, PDP should be put in view. He's not going to spring any surprises on the interim. Well, because the party is still undergoing its reformation, or if I mean said so. So him going to PDP, I doubt strongly. I still believe the Labour Party can still provide him the veritable platform for him to, just to tinker upon one or two things that were not done well, and then re-strategize, and then see how he can, come out strong with Labour Party. If for sure ABC is a no-go area for him, because Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is not ready to really his ambition for anybody. So Peter Obi, I still see him still going back to Labour Party. What Labour Party needs is to strengthen their presence across wards, across the local government, across states, so that they can be able to, have people representation at the grassroots. That's what is needed. So it takes Peter Obi to go inward into Labour Party and try to, resolve all internal conflicts and make sure that they have a noble ground for, politicians to vie for political posts and for the party to survive.
All right, we will leave it at this particular point. With the new INEC chairman, Mopiton, SEN, he has lots of things to take on, especially with the lopsided politics and party politics that we do in Nigeria, where one party morphs into another, another morphs into another. The same politicians that Nigerians were really not comfortable about would move to yet another party and still get voted into power. Lots of conundrum happening with politics in Nigeria, but we would leave it at this point. It's a developing story. The Minister of Information said by 2026 that APC would have about 30 states. So we have 36 states in Nigeria plus the FCT. So he says they will take 30 states, which 6 will be left with other parties. Well, let's see how this goes. Nigeria knows how to pull surprises. Let's see how that goes, though. This is Enterprise Weekend. Thank you so very much, gentlemen, for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Henry.
I appreciate you all. All right, we have to leave it at this point. Please do well to follow us. You can find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and visit us when you see us at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a splendid weekend, and bye-bye from us.